there's no words that I could come up with that would even come close to describing the sheer terror of hearing that your son is in a place, or your child is in a place, where there's been violence.
It was 12 years ago this Saturday that elementary school parents in Newtown, Connecticut frantically sought to reunite with their children after reports of a shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School began to surface. For many families that day, their lives were forever changed. On December 14th, 2012, a gunman with a semi-automatic rifle killed 20 first graders and 6 educators at Sandy Hook before taking his own life. 12 years later, the shooting at Sandy Hook remains the deadliest at an elementary school in U.S. history. One of the victims that day was 6-year-old Catherine Violet Hubbard. The first grader was known to be a passionate animal lover, so in her honor, her mother, Jennifer Hubbard, established the Catherine Violet Hubbard Foundation to promote healing through human-animal connection. Jennifer has become a national Catholic speaker and retreat leader who shares how she grappled with God amid her daughter's death. And on this 12-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting, we are joined in studio now by Jennifer Hubbard. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us here and being with us on this day.
Thank you.
Here we are, marking the 12-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting. How are you doing? And what are these anniversaries like now, 12 years later?
Thank you for asking. This year, I'm remarkably peaceful. You know, every single year I find myself in this different place, and I think it has a lot to do with just where I am on my own personal journey. And some years are really hard. They bring up a lot of emotions. The week leading up to the anniversary, I literally live in 2 time zones. I can tell you exactly what I was doing 12 years ago on this day at this time, right up to when I found out that Catherine was gone. And it just, different memories, different emotions, they seem to surface. This year, I'm so peaceful. Yeah.
Wow. And not to ever, judge if you feel different year by year. I feel like that's the complication of grief.
Yeah.
Probably.
I've learned that grief is such this unique friend, if you will, that when you learn to lean into it and live with it and not try to push it away, suffering's a part of our life. It's a promise. It's a biblical promise that we're going to have suffering. But I think that when you have a deep-rooted faith and trust, you move through it and you recognize what healing comes from that moment.
Jennifer, I understand you are a cradle Catholic. You have been Catholic your whole life, but 12 years ago, when news broke of this tragic shooting and you got the worst news that a parent could get, did you turn to God in that moment during that time? And did you feel any consolation from God?
I did.
Really?
I did. My faith was not where it is today by any stretch. I remember driving to the firehouse. I got a phone call saying, come on down, something's happened. And it was early in the morning. And I remember driving down to the firehouse and saying, oh God, help me. And I didn't realize in that moment like that I was praying. Like at that point in my life, prayer for me was this very regimented process, but that just that nod to God, like help me. He did.
Just turning to him and giving him what you have. And when you reflect on your faith journey these past 12 years, you say that you're in a different place today than you were then. Do you feel more closely connected with God? Can you describe that journey? Okay.
I do. For me, when Catherine died, I would go to Mass, I would practice my faith. Prayer was this little moment of my morning. I had a friend that was, she was encouraging me to do a Bible study and do a devotional. And it was like these little tidbits.
Compartmentalized.
Yes. Yeah. So I would put my kids on the bus and I'd come back home and I would sit for a few minutes, read scripture, read a devotional. And then after Catherine died, those few minutes became just moments of just sitting in stillness. I think what I'm realized is the habits that we have in our lives, they're going to form our habits when the unthinkable strikes. And so I love the fact that I had the routine of sitting at the kitchen table and praying and reading and diving into my faith, because those 5 minutes became 50 minutes. There were some days where I'd sit there for hours. And what I discovered was that the faraway God that I had started this journey with was not far away at all. It was right there.
Yeah, he was holding you.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, was there any temptation to hold on to resentment amid this journey? I mean, how do you fight that? And have you been able to find forgiveness?
Absolutely, there's resentment. And I think that there's bitterness, and I think that there's a wanting and a disappointment of this is not how life was supposed to be. And I think that sometimes there's the tendency, if I'm a strong Catholic, if I am strong in my faith and I do what I'm supposed to do, then trials aren't going to come to me. And so when they do, I think sometimes the tendency is to think, well, why did this happen? Like, I didn't deserve this. And we kind of hold it in our hearts. And I think that's where the resentment comes in. And I think that what I've learned is that forgiveness is being transparent with that, not shying away from it, not being scared of it, but offering it up to God, and to be able to say that this is the emotions that are bringing up with me. Because forgiveness is, by definition, the intentional release of anger and resentment. And so when we know that we have a loving God, a loving Father to give that to, then forgiveness comes in subtle forms. And so you come to a place where you're not holding someone else accountable for these feelings that these trials bring up. I don't hold Adam Lanza accountable. If that means that I forgive him, yeah.
That's a really honest answer. I appreciate that. And Jennifer, in our final moments here together, I'd love to just give you a chance to talk about your daughter, Catherine, and the work that you're doing now with the Catherine Violet Hubbard Animal Sanctuary.
Yep. So the sanctuary we started in her memory, it was a typographical error in her obituary. Yep. I thought donations were going to the Animal Control Center. I omitted inadvertently the word control. I truly believe that in that moment I gave over control. The sanctuary is a place of healing and compassion. We believe that animals should live free from harm in homes and habitats, because that's what Catherine was, an animal girl. And so that's what she would want. What we're finding is that when we honor creation and we honor creatures, when we honor God's earth, people become kinder and gentler. Just recently, our programming, we educate, we provide direct care to animals, and we do a lot of habitat restoration. We were most recently recognized as a beacon for building human empathy.
Wow. What a beautiful response to suffering. Jennifer, thank you for your honesty, for your vulnerability. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.